I'm no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes. What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
You literally are. You are an adjudicated rapist. That is a fact.
Erica, the surprise announcement was made right from the bench when the judge said that Mr. Allen was being charged with attempting to assassinate the President of the United States. We didn't know that until we were in the courtroom and Mr. Allen had actually walked in.
He did not say he was going after Trump. He said he was going after a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor. So by charging him with assassination of the president, is that admitting that Trump is a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor?
They're very solid, peaceful, good people in the community.
The shooter's parents, apparently solid people. They're solid people. They are not gaseous. They are not liquid. Yo, I'm Justin Freakin. Right-wingers keep trying to mock me for my sub and view count on YouTube, so I guess I'll be a good content creator and do what the algorithm gods demand and tell you to like the video. Or dislike it for all I care. I know I'm not a very likable personality. But if you do enjoy the vibes around here, be a good subby and seduce that subscribe button. And if you want to find out what that news be doing Sunday through Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 Pacific on the Troll Patrol Live, then be sure to hit that bell the way I would hit the bong. The White House Correspondents' Dinner shooter appeared in court just a couple of hours ago.
Erica, the surprise announcement was made right from the bench when the judge said that Mr. Allen was being charged with attempting to assassinate the President of the United States. We didn't know that until we were in the courtroom and Mr. Allen had actually walked in.
Once again, he did not say he was going after Trump. He said he was going after a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor. So by charging him with assassination of the president, is that admitting that Trump is a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor?
We are learning some new information tonight, including the fact that he set his email, according to prosecutors, to go out at the exact time that he was planning this attack, according to prosecutors, and that was at 8:40 p.m. on Saturday night. Here's what else we know. He nodded his head at a number of the judge's questions, indicating he understood, and then told the judge he wanted a court-appointed attorney. At one point, the assistant U.S. attorney assigned to the case showed photos of the pistol and the shotgun to the judge and gave copies to the defense. The hearing lasted just a few minutes before Judge Sharbaugh told Allen he would be back in court Thursday for a detention hearing. Now, according to the complaint filed in federal court today, Allen booked a room at the Washington Hilton on April 6th for 3 nights. The complaint says he arrived here by train on Friday and checked into the hotel. Prosecutors say he legally purchased the .38 pistol in California in 2023 and bought the shotgun in August of 25. The document says Allen had an email set to go out automatically, as I just mentioned. The complaint quotes from the email. It says, administration officials, not including Mr. Patel, they are targets, prioritized from highest ranking to lowest. Secret Service, they are targets only if necessary and to be incapacitated if possible. The complaint also adds these details.
Kaiser O's? Did I say that right? Kaiser So's? I did not vote for Trump. I'm sorry that you were led to believe that. In 2016, I felt disenfranchised and didn't vote. because I voted for Bernie in the primary. I moved and didn't change my registration and didn't feel that I should change my registration. I feel sorry about that now. It wouldn't have mattered. I was in a solid red state at the time. I was in Alabama working for a news station. In 2020, I happily voted for Joe Biden, and Trump was hit with a question during his 60 Minutes interview last night with Norah O'Donnell. And it's kind of the question that's, on everybody's mind. He didn't say that he was trying to assassinate the president. He said that he was going to take out a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor. So is Trump admitting he is a pedophile, a rapist, and a traitor?
The president did an interview with 60 Minutes overnight on the event itself and the investigation. There was one question
I would have voted for Obama a third time if I could have.
Analyst Brian Stelter for the latest on this. Good morning to you. Long time no see.
Yeah, I thought they fired this bitch.
Good morning. Axios put it really well this morning. It said one uncomfortable question was all it took for President Trump to resume hostilities with the media. Here is that exchange with CBS's Norah O'Donnell from last night.
He writes this quote, "Administration officials, they are targets." And he also wrote this, "I am no longer willing to permit a pedophile, rapist, and traitor to coat my hands with his crimes." What's your reaction to that?
Well, I was waiting for you to read that because I knew you would, because you're horrible people, horrible people. Yeah, he did write that. I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
You literally are. You are an adjudicated rapist. That is a fact that cannot be denied. You are indeed a rapist, sir. So sorry about that.
I'm not a rapist. I didn't rape anybody.
Do you think he was referring to you?
Excuse me. I'm not a pedophile. You read that crap from some sick person. You should be ashamed of yourself reading that, because I'm not any of those things.
Mr. President,
and I
these
was
are
never,
the gunman's words.
Excuse me. You shouldn't be reading that on 60 Minutes. You're a disgrace.
He was interviewed by ABC7 back in 2019.
Cole Allen, a 31-year-old Caltech engineering graduate and college prep tutor, now in custody, accused of opening fire at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. ABC News quoting sources that say Allen sent a message describing himself as, quote, a friendly federal assassin. Acting Attorney General Todd Blanche saying it does appear that Allen was targeting people in the Trump administration, including the president. And an Eyewitness News exclusive, we interviewed a man who appeared to be Allen when he was a student at Caltech.
The idea with this is to prevent it from moving at all.
We found him at an aging conference. He had designed a new way to make wheelchairs safer.
The wheelchair brakes tend to lock the wheels, but don't actually lock the chair to the ground.
That was back in 2017. Today, according to his LinkedIn profile, Allen was working for C2 Education, a private company that prepares students for college entrance exams. That profile claiming C2 actually named him its Teacher of the Month in December 2024. In a written statement, the company today said,
I'm not impressed.
Shocked to hear the news of the horrifying incident that transpired at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. We are cooperating fully with law enforcement to assist them in their investigation. Violence of any kind is never the answer. Allen describes himself online as developing this video game called Boredom, what he calls an atomic fighting game. On the gaming platform Steam, one of the popular tags used to find it was Bullet Hell. Another was Shooter.
I was shocked. I didn't believe it. I thought, no, they're just saying that.
Today, Allen's Torrance neighbors are left reeling after finding out he's the man arrested in the D.C. shooting.
It's really surprising, really shocking. I'm sad for his family. You know, his parents are good people. They don't deserve this. They're school teachers, solid, really solid members of the community.
The shooter's parents, apparently solid people. They're solid people. They are not gaseous. They are not liquid. They quoted as being solid people.
of the shooting, federal and local authorities swarmed Allen's home just south of Los Angeles. They wanted to know why and went for the evidence. CBS News Los Angeles' Tina Patel picks up that part of the story and what investigators are learning so far about the suspect's life in California.
Well, a lot of shock in this neighborhood. Now, we haven't seen any movement in this home right now, so we don't know if Cole Allen's family is still here. But they were here this weekend when law enforcement came to do a search, and the FBI was back out here yesterday. We saw them going door to door, interviewing neighbors. The 31-year-old suspect lived here with his parents, but neighbors say he mostly stayed to himself. They would see him occasionally going to work or school, but they didn't know much about him. According to Allen's LinkedIn page, he graduated from Cal State Dominguez Hills last year with a master's in computer science. He had previously studied mechanical engineering at Caltech and worked at C2 Education as a tutor. He was named their Teacher of the Month back in December 2024. Now, records show Allen legally purchased guns over the last few years, but family members reportedly told investigators that Allen's parents may not have been aware that he had those weapons. Neighbors say Allen's father seemed like a peaceful man.
He was always outside. Working in the garage, so he would just wave.
The parents I'm friends with. I'm friends with his dad. They're very solid, peaceful, good people in the community.
Now, law enforcement is reviewing a so-called manifesto that Allen may have sent to family members just minutes before the attack in Washington. In it, he apologizes to his parents and to everyone whose trust he says he abused. As we come back out here live, when this all got underway and the connection was made on Saturday night, the mayor of Torrance actually came to this neighborhood, and he put out a statement saying that the actions of one person should not reflect at all on this community. The question is whether this suspect acted alone or whether anyone else might have known about his plans. That's something investigators are looking into.
Tina Patel, thank you so much.
The number one profession most likely to commit terrorism: engineers. Over and over again. I say it over and over again because it's true. I've seen it happen over and over again. Wow, Jimmy Kimmel, who is in no way funny as attested to by his terrible television ratings, made a statement on his show that is really shocking. He showed a fake video of the First Lady Melania and our son Barron like they were actually sitting in a studio listening to him speak, which they weren't and never would be. He then stated, our First Lady Melania, this guy has worked in TV. Apparently, he did not know that wrestling was fake. Bret Hart said that when he hosted WrestleMania, it was either 4 or 5. He hosted both of those at Trump. Or was it 6, 7? It was whichever one it was at Trump Atlantic Casino. And Bret Hart said that he did not understand that wrestling was fake. Reports came out that because WrestleMania, that would have been 80, 88, 89, something like that. In 2008, after Vince McMahon faked his own death on TV and his limo exploded, Trump called WWE headquarters to make sure his friend Vince was okay because he saw the limo explode. Our First Lady Melania is here. Look at Melania, so beautiful. Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow. A day later, a lunatic tried entering the ballroom with the White House Correspondents' Dinner, loaded up with a shotgun, handgun, and many knives. He was there for a very obvious and sinister reason. I appreciate that so many people are incensed by Kimmel's despicable call to violence and normally would not be responsive to anything that he said, but this is something far beyond the pale. Jimmy Kimmel should be immediately fired by Disney and ABC. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, who I thought was going on maternity leave, was apparently there today for the press conference.
Jimmy Kimmel's comments were, "Mrs. Trump, you have a glow like an expectant widow." And he said this days before the shooting, but there does seem to be a normalization of rhetoric about assassinating this particular president. How can this administration try to put an end to this?
Well, I think you heard it directly from the president on Saturday night, Aisha, that in his words, we need to recommit ourselves as a country to toning down the rhetoric and to unifying around what makes our country great.
He had just called a CBS reporter horrible like 12 hours before this.
That's true of everyone who works in this White House, but as I said, it's also true of everyone who has a voice and a platform across this country, whether you're on television, a podcast host, people listen. And when you have mentally disturbed individuals across the country who are listening to this crazed rhetoric about the president day after day after day, it inspires them to do crazy things. And unfortunately, it's not just the media, it is the entire Democrat Party has made their pitch to voters across the country that Donald Trump poses an existential threat to democracy, that he does. Is a fascist, and that they compare him to Hitler.
He is
these
a fascist.
Are despicable statements.
I love that like two of the most famous people to compare Trump to Hitler are his own vice president, J.D. Vance, which just shows what a sycophant he is, and then his former chief of staff, John Kelly.
The American people have been consuming for years, and so many mentally perturbed individuals are led to believe these words are truth and then are inspired to act on it. I have a whole host of examples that we can share with you after. It is pages and pages of major Democrat Party elected officials saying, such as Rep. Hakeem Jeffries just this month said, "We are in an era of maximum warfare everywhere all the time." Governor Josh Shapiro said heads need to roll within the administration. Senator Alex Padilla said people are, quote, dying because of fear and terror caused by the Trump administration. Senator Elizabeth Warren, President Trump is making the country look like a, quote, fascist state. Senator Adam Schiff saying President Trump using a dictator playbook. Senator Ed Markey calling President Trump a dictator, saying that this administration's actions are authoritarianism on steroids. Governor J.B. Pritzker, never before in my life have I called for mass protest disruptions. These Republicans cannot know a moment of peace. You have Rep. Presley saying, "We'll see you in the streets." Rep. Monica McIver, a Democrat representative on Capitol Hill, "We will not take this shit from Donald Trump. He thinks he's a dictator. We are at war." These are Democrat elected officials calling for war against the President of the United States and his supporters. I could go on, but again, when you have people in positions of power that are saying things like this every single day for years, you are inspiring violence by people who are already mentally ill. And that's what we've seen against this president for far too long.
This is disinformation and misinformation online. There will be bite-sized clips that will go viral to the point where there are Americans in this country that believe that what happened Saturday night was staged. How does this White House tackle that with social media companies out there, whether it's X, Facebook, Instagram? How do they work with these companies to make sure that doesn't get out of control?
It's certainly a good question, Aisha. I don't have tangible answers for you on what we're doing with social media companies, if anything at all. What I will say is it's very important to us that we get the truth and the facts about this case and any case out there as quickly as possible to dispel some of that crazy nonsense that you do see running rampant online.
Yeah, I thought she was going on maternity leave because apparently she is ready to pop at any second. So she had said that Friday was her last gaggle, but here she is, I guess, because of the events of Saturday night. I have no idea why she's still there right now. Because as I understand it, that kid is getting ready to pop out anytime. And someone said they can fix her. She is way too young to be my GOP mommy. I like them far older. Well, her husband is like 70 or 80 or something. He's an old fart.
Like one it and hit one back, one more click before we hit the set an alert when that shit goes live, so she fucking support and hit subscribe. Light one up and take a hit. He does no harm, but he takes no shit. He's the last one standing when the ship is sinking. Let's take another rip for Justin Freakin.
Light one up, tip one back. I'm Justin Freakin.
Not high enough for this shit.